Hello, 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 and welcome to the Lynn Woods Gospel Entertainment Show where we talk to inspire. My guest today is Grammy nominated recording artist Major. Major is a platinum selling recording artist. His pop, soulful stylings have struck a chord with music lovers, and you know it's all mixed in with gospel folks. It's got church all up in it. I know you know his hits like Why I Love You, which is one of the song that Stevie Wonder called the wedding song of the year because everybody was playing it at their wedding. And it was just all over the place. People love it. You also had Baby Will You Love Me. He released the EP I Am Major, and then there's the Hope of My Soul. His current inspirational hit is I Prayed for You, and it is stirring up the mainstream and gospel music scenes, and it is a Billboard chart-topping song. So I just want to say welcome, 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 Major. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Listen, thank you so very much for having me. I am honored. That was quite an intro that summed up who this brother is, just in case someone had no idea who you were talking about when you said Major. A lot of people wonder if that's my real name, and yes, it absolutely is my real name. The only clever part is I capitalize every letter and add a period because I mean it, and also it's easier to Google me.
Yeah. Wow. Smart way to do that.
Because imagine putting Major in a Google search, you're getting millions of random things that are not related to who you're looking for. But yeah, Major, all caps with the period. My mom named me Major because she prayed that I'd make a major impact on the world. And I have committed to that prayer by living it out with every song and opportunity that I'm given. So thank you, Queen Lynn, for having me on your show. Let's get deeper into it and let the people know a little bit more about my mama's favorite Hope dealer.
I saw that about the Hope dealer that grew up in, were you born in Denton, Texas, and you grew up in between
Denton? I was born
in
Denton, but was there for like 5 seconds, but I was raised in Houston, Texas.
Oh, in Houston, Texas. Oh, wow. So what was that like? Because I understand you had a large family.
I love Houston, Texas. It's a great city. It's a very diverse city. I experienced diversity of thought, cultures, expressions, just some of the best people and the best food you can imagine. I say Texas raised me, Cali paid me. I live in Los Angeles now, but growing up in Houston was where I got my rearing and steering and how to show up as not just a man, but a man of God. You know, growing up in church, my uncle's church, Faith Southwest, and then on to the Fountain of Praise, was my church home with Dr. Remus and Mia Wright, two incredible people of God. And I've just been locked into building my artistry. I told my mom at 3 years old that I wanted to be a famous singer and a pastor. And she said, well, we got work to do. And so she put me in music classes immediately. And of course, I always loved going to church. So the combination of the two is really the impetus of who I am and why I am today.
So it wasn't just someone just singing, but you were rooted and grounded in the church. Now, were you part of
absolutely. Absolutely. They call me a platinum soul singer because my song "Why I Love You" did go platinum. Okay. But also as a soul singer, you know, I sing from my experiences, my truth, the heart of my journey. And the church was definitely my beginnings. It's my now. It's my forever. I actually pursued gospel music as a genre early on before everything broke for me, but the doors, believe it or not, Miss Lynn, weren't opening for me. It was very interesting how when I went to labels to try to get signed, they said I was too big for gospel, and I was like, okay,
really
that's interesting, because my heroes were gospel artists: CeCe Winans, BB, Kirk Franklin, Mary, and so to be told that was really strange. But I did make a promise to God when I moved to Los Angeles after graduating from the Berklee College of Music. I said, if I cross over, I promise God that I will take the crossover with me. And so that has been my commitment. Every song that I sing, you can run it through scripture because you'll find the reference there.
Now, when did you realize that music was more than a song. It was a purpose and a calling.
It was early. It was
Hmm.
early in my adolescence. I remember my first paid gig was 8 years old. I've been at this for a very long time, and I just saw it early on that it makes a difference. I've watched it shift the way in which people see life.
Hmm.
I can literally change a mood with the way in which I sing and where I draw my inspiration from. I've always been a connector of people as an empath, one who moves with extreme empathy, where I have compassion for the journey and the plight of everyone as if it's myself. That shows up. And so for me, it's always just made me feel like I'm in the right space when I move in this thing. So it was really early on. It wasn't something that came later in my life.
Okay, so is that you said you're an empath? Because I have a friend who she says that she's an empath and she feels things all the time. Is that
Oh man.
type? Yeah. So so I do know what about empaths. Now you mentioned earlier about being a hope dealer. So talk a little bit more about that.
Yes. So in 2015, I released a song called Hit the Road. And it was a song that basically spoke about anything negative, anything that's not feeding my soul or making me better or my community better. It's got to kick rocks. It's got to go. And
Mm-hmm.
it was featuring a good brother of mine named Molly Music. And we had a feature on Yahoo Music at the time. That was a really popular platform that promoted new music. And Billy Johnson, journalist Billy Johnson, quoted saying, Major is our hope dealer. He is filling the void of hope and inspiration in mainstream music. And it was so encouraging. It was so encouraging to see that, because I'm like, yeah, I am a hope dealer. I
Mm.
deal hope for a living. And so I just locked in with that. And for the past 10 plus years, I've literally been connecting with that message. I always knew it was hope, but I wasn't calling it hope dealer until he helped to amplify it in that article. Yes, hope is what I deal. Hope is what I amplify. I want people to reclaim their relationship with hope. And it's not just some fluffy cliche or just this lighthearted line of keep hope alive. Hope is
Mm-hmm.
powerful.
And speaking of,
You can't talk faith lest you talk hope, because
that's
faith is
true.
the substance of things hoped for. And so it definitely has always been a part of my brand and my storytelling. But I'm really true about this business of dealing hope to as many people as I can.
And you know what, Major, when you said that, I thought about the hope dealing and then faith. And your faith intertwined with your hope dealing shapes the message that you bring through music, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I really understand, like, the message is hope and love, life, and in future. But we have to understand, when we talk about hope, we're not putting it in these things that are fickle and fleeting. This hope is in the Lord. Our
Hmm.
hope is God. And when you lock it in that, you'll never miss. You'll never miss in life. And I can't wait for us to get into this I Prayed for You record to talk more about that, because I have a story about hope that's connected to that as well.
Couple more things to ask outside of your music before we go into the music part.
Absolutely.
The music industry, it can push you one way, but you have managed to stay centered, and it seems from your talking to me, you have stayed on purpose. How hard was that to do?
It wasn't difficult to do. There definitely came challenges, and there definitely became isolation along the journey, because what's popular is not often what is God. What's popular is not often what is kingdom. But what is beautiful will always be the God things. What is love will always be the God things. And so I have known what the feeling is of just being popular for being connected to something that's trendy. But I
Hmm.
know how gratifying and fulfilling it feels when you know you're on assignment for the God work. Because what it does is it enriches your soul and it empowers you and it gives you a feeling of treasure unlike any other. I like that so much so that I'm willing to go without having the materialistic things, because I know how sweet it is to be locked in love and to be locked in God, because God is love.
That is so true. You're in this music business and you're staying on purpose. You're in this music business and it can be really, really tough in light of all the stuff that's coming on, that's out there now. And it's great to know who you are and whose you are, because it will chew you up and spit you out. I worked at Warner Brothers Records before in artist development some years ago, so I kind of got a feel for, well, not kind of got a feel, but
you said in artist development?
Artist development, which artist relations, artist development.
Which is a lost art, Lord have mercy.
They don't have that no more. Yes, yes. So, yeah, that's 2000s got here, that's long gone.
Yes, it's a shame, but it needs to be brought back, because so many just think it's a matter of you being talented and that's enough. Mm-hmm. But artist development really teaches you and cultivates a right ability to show up well in spaces, and to show up fully in spaces and intentionally in spaces. And I think that many have missed it, and many aren't doing the due diligence that artist development provided and mandated. So salute to heroes of that great work. I salute you for sure.
Oh, well, thank you, because it saddens me where I see so many artists are just out there, thrown out there, without any teaching, any schooling about this business and what it can do to you, what it can do for you, what it can do or go against you, and they don't have a clue, but they're out there. But anyway, yeah, so that's a whole nother discussion now. Now, you do music, but before we get into music, I understand you've done some acting too.
Absolutely. Acted in quite a few projects. Most notably, I was Queen Latifah's son in the TV show Star on Fox. By Lee Daniels. He was the creator of that show. In the last season, they brought me in as a guest star that ended up being a recurring guest star because they loved the chemistry. And unfortunately, due to network buyouts and whatnot, they had to cancel the show, but finished strong in those last 4 episodes that can still be seen on Hulu. But also, I was Curtis Mayfield in the TV series Genius Aretha, starring Cynthia Erivo as Aretha Franklin and Courtney B. Vance as C.L. Franklin. That was an incredible experience. I just recently did the TV show Found on NBC, episode 211. It was an episode that was really rich about fatherhood and autism, and it was a powerful episode. So for those listening, feel free to check it out on Peacock to see the old episodes, or go to your DVR or on demand and look up episode 211 and you'll see it.
Well, you are just multi-talented here with the music.
Your boy is a well-rounded.
I see that, and I hear the shows that you've mentioned. Like, I used to watch the series Star, so I've seen that. I've seen Genius. Found, I just started watching Found, so I haven't seen that. So, okay.
It's great.
Well, congratulations on being well-rounded and multi-talented, because the industry in which we live and work in, it's like you got to do 4-5 things. 4-5
Oh,
things.
yeah. It doesn't. You remember, you said you were working in artist development. That was a time when money was spent. Now, they're not spending much of it, and people just aren't making as much as they used to. So you gotta pick up multiple trades to make this thing happen. And so I'm grateful that I have a gift to do it well, and an acumen to continue to focus on building even stronger, so that more opportunities can be at my, not disposal, but just at my opportunity for maximization.
Okay, right then. All right then. Berklee College of Music graduate.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know if you know, Miss Lynn, they just honored me with the Berklee Gospel Music Hall of Fame. I was just inducted into the Berklee Music Hall of Fame at the top of May.
Oh, my goodness.
And it's a big honor. They have Judith McAllister, Kurt Carr, Teresa Hairston.
Yeah, I know all of them.
Yeah, Jerome Kyles and Major. Major's the newest inductee, and so I'm just grateful to have been acknowledged by my alma mater for my contributions to gospel music to the institution. I actually remember while there advocating for church kids to be the ones that we recruit, because there's so much talent in the church that gets overlooked because the church musicians learn how to play music by ear, but brilliantly. And they may not have gone to schools to read music. And so if we're only holding people to a requisite of knowing how to read music in order to get into school, we're missing out on a lot of brilliant talent that we can teach retroactively how to read based on just their natural skill ability. So I was a big advocate for that and getting them to partner with the GMWA and Tracy Artists' I Hear Music program, and even to get, remember, Gospel Music Roundup and Gospel Today, or Gospel Heritage Magazine. I made sure that they got all of those magazines and publications in the school officially so that gospel music could be rightly recognized and embraced and learned.
Well, I applaud you for that. You're talking about all those things, and folks, as my grandma said, I knowed them.
Yeah, I've been around for a long time, Miss Lynn. They used to call me choir boy. So when these things happen in my life, it's like, no, you think this is an overnight success, but it's been a long night.
A long night, huh? Amen, amen. Now let's get right into your music thing. We've gotten some of everything. Musically, your big exploding hit was Why I Love You in 2019. Yes. You know, it's interesting. My nephew, he and his wife, they were one of the couples that got married to that song too. Why I Love You. I remember I was like, oh, that is such a beautiful song. I was at the wedding. Oh, so lovely. Then the pandemic hit, but anyway. Folks, that is still a favorite wedding song. What inspired it? And then we'll go into your current song that's stirring up souls, but what inspired Why I Love You?
So I'm going to take you on a journey that is both hilarious, then it gets pretty sentimental and special. But I was on set of a web series called Flawed. And if you've ever heard of the social media Christian comedian Kev on Stage, it was his brother, Jason Fredericks, who passed away a couple years ago, that was the creator of this web series, Flawed, on set, and it was low budget. It was a low budget project.
Okay.
And so you know when it's low budget, it's either pizza or sandwiches from Subway, and this day was sandwiches. And I'm like, I don't, what type of sandwiches? I'm always been high maintenance. I ain't been rich all my life, but I've been high maintenance even when we were poor.
Okay.
So they said, what kind of sandwich? And I said, well, I don't want ham and I don't want turkey. And they said, well, what do you want? And my buddy Jor-El Quinn, formerly of the group 2103 that Jay Moss had back in the day, he's playing lullaby music on the piano. And out of nowhere, I said, chicken salad sandwich. I want a chicken salad sandwich because I'm hungry. And they're videoing it and they post it online. It goes viral. And I'm just excited, and it's just so fun. And at the time, viral was like 1,000 views, so I really thought I was doing something. And so I end up getting a call from my producer who says, buddy, this song is beautiful, and I think we have a love song in it. So take down the video and get to the studio. I get to the studio, and he said, let's talk about love. And I'm like, well, I'm not in love. I've had my heart broken from a love I pursued, but I'm not in love. And he says, you have to know about love. And I said, well, my mama and God. And he says, well, sing about God. I was reminded of literally what I said. If I cross over, I'm taking the crossover with me. So quickly, lyrics just started falling down. It was like the most divine spiritual download. That was the fastest song, one of the fastest songs that I've ever written. Literally, it came as a love letter to God, and love wrote me back. So this is why I love you, is that. It's my conversation with love. And so it's so special because I literally said, I can see this song sang at weddings and proposals and churches and funerals. And I was just saying it all. And sure enough, that is literally what it has been. It has blown me away at how amazingly impactful it has been. 165 million alone on YouTube. I'm just grateful to God for this blessing of a song.
Oh wow, that is such a blessing. And now you're on to I Prayed for You. So how's that going for you? It's topping the Billboard charts. How about that one? How does that make you feel? And I think it's something really really needed now. Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy. You know what, Miss Lane? The people are tired. People are exhausted. People are just burnt out.
Yeah.
And we need motivation to get back into the flow of life and to know that sometimes that surrender is not weakness. It is the strongest decision to make. And prayer is that direct line to the heart, hand, and ear of God. I was compelled to write this song in the heart of the pandemic when I received a text message, a group text from a brother that meant a lot to this world. He said at 10:45 Eastern Standard Time on April 4th, 2020, let's pray for the hope of the world, because the world is stricken with hopelessness due to this COVID-19 and everything that's happening. And he said, but we need a hope mindset to shift people's trajectory into healing, because often what is expected, it affects the molecular when you decide to be negative about your ailments. And so that's why they're always encouraging you to think as positive as possible, because positivity has a power, a strength. He said the plague was asked why it had killed so many. The plague responded, I'd only killed 100. The thousands that died from the fear of hope is the key. And that's been my message. So not only did I pray, but I wrote a song about it. Then we had the civil unrest with George Floyd. And then a month later, my brother, who sent that text message, passed away from an ailment that he had with a fight that he had with cancer for over 4 years. And no one knew. It was Chadwick Boseman.
That was so sad. It was, and people were saying, oh, he's losing weight. What's going on? But nobody really knew the story.
I knew that he was sick because I am somewhat a part of his inner circle.
Okay.
But I didn't know that it was cancer all this time. And I even joked with him. I did. I have to be honest. I said, you need to start eating some more meat. And he said, no, I'm vegan. I'm vegan as a way, buddy. You need to. And he was poking at me because I was gay. You know what? And he's like, but I thought it was so powerful that Chadwick, who had every right to focus and zone in on his own situation and not focus on anything else but what he was going through, he had the audacity to hope for the world. And that is what challenged me to dig deeper in my bag of hope and to make sure that I am committed to helping people really know what hope is all about. I Prayed for You is that anthem of hope to the world. And I worked at gospel radio, and we're working at R&B soul radio and Americana, and everyone's embracing it because we all can relate to the power and the need for prayer.
Prayer and hope from the Hope Dealer. All right.
That's right. That's right.
So Hope Dealer Major, where can people connect with you on social media? I love the whole story about the prayer, about I Pray for You, because we really, really need it. Now, if folks want to connect with you, where can they find you?
Now That's Major on all social platforms. Now That's Major. .com is my website. Again, Major is spelled with all capital letters and a period. So when you're Googling me, you can find me quicker. I'm trying to told you. Look for it that way. It's a lot of amazing things coming. We have some remixes of I Prayed for You. I want to work that one till it don't have any ounce of juice left, because I really believe that this message is a timely one that can remind people that we gonna be all right.
All right, then. We gonna be all right. Major with a period at the end. Thank you so much for sharing your story with me and my community of folks that love a hope dealer.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and God bless you and in everything that you do, and continue to do what you do, uplifting and building the kingdom everywhere you go.
Thank you so much. And as I pray for you, I ask that you do the same for me, because I do believe prayer works, especially when you know who you're praying to. Much love to you, Queen Lynn, and blessings to your incredible audience.
And audience, thank you once again for joining us for another episode of the Lynn Woods Gospel Entertainment Show. Make sure that you subscribe, and you can download for free. That way you never ever miss an episode of this uplifting, encouraging, and inspiring show. Now, if you'd like to reach me, Lynn Woods, you can find me on X at Lynn Woods. That's LINWOODS, or Instagram or TikTok at LynnWoods96, or Facebook or LinkedIn at Lynn, Lin, last name Woods, WOODS. This has been the Lynn Woods Gospel Entertainment Show, where we talk to inspire, and taking us on out is Major with his hit, I Prayed for You. God bless.
I said a prayer. I said a prayer for you. I said this prayer. I prayed you take the moment. I prayed you take the time to see that you were special and always on my mind. I prayed for you. I sang a song.